how do we make each other feel like rock stars in relationship? Come on, Celeste.
Well,
How do we do this?
I've had tons of successful relationships.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
doesn't mean
Okay.
like some of them persist to this day.
Scores of them.
Of course,
I
them
mean, how
persist.
many are there, for God's sake?
Including my one with my ex-husband who lives downstairs.
Yeah. 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 Okay. So we're defining successful relationships where basically where you make each other feel really good.
Yeah, you have an
Yeah.
ongoing loving connection, maybe
Yeah.
attachment, maybe you have also romance and passion, maybe you just have romance and
Mm,
passion, but not really attachment, but
yeah.
you have a wonderful time with the other person. And just because something needs to shift, it doesn't mean it makes everything that happened before that null and void. Like,
Gosh, yes, absolutely. And I guess there we're talking about attachment, right? Because you have this idea of this is how we would be good together, right? I see us hand in hand, on this beach, da 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 da, having a couple's date with so and so, whatever. Yeah, no, I think that's right. And being able to dismantle those images and look at what's really authentically there and build a new structure. And
well,
I
you've
think,
had that experience, right, Jane? Like you've been on a date holding someone's hand and it was a couple's date and the sun set and you drank a
oh,
bottle of wine, you
yeah.
splashed in the waves. Like
I mean,
you were
I want to say
successful.
yes. I'm like, fuck, I better have had that date, man. Shit. Have I? Listen, I'll tell you this. I've had a lot of good dates. I am not a
Exactly.
deprived woman, in any stretch of the imagination. But I do think, relationships, successful relationships feel to me like they do feel like the holy grail. I mean, I certainly want to cultivate that in all my relationships, a sort of state where we're just incredibly generous to each other. But I think it's really hard when you're in romantic relationships when these needier parts get triggered and you go into the part of yourself that is the least magnificent. And I mean, I just went through it and I just, saw myself going into what I think of as like the abject, the part of myself that just feels really like bloody minded and horrible. I feel
Mhm.
like I'm horrible. I want to be horrible. I want to take you down with me,
Yeah.
and it's more under control than it used to be, but it's still there and may be there, and I think it's hard, isn't it? And then you hurt the person that you love. And then we've got the work of repair. And do we have the energy for it? And do we have the skill set,
Yeah. Well, firstly, I want to say not maybe, there will be, there always is there.
What there
Mhm.
is always the
The hurt part.
hurt. Yeah. Yeah.
Hurt part. And so it's like when she comes up inside of me, which she has this week, it's been a rough week. And
Yeah.
it's like the anxiety of like, oh, why did this person ghost me? And like, what did I do? Did I mess something up? And then I'm just like, you're not everybody's flavor, Celeste. Like you had an amazing connection. Like remember that
Mm.
kiss, like and
Oh,
here's my hurt little girl going like,
yeah.
but how come everybody doesn't like me and how come they don't like me forever?
Yes.
And I'm just like,
Feel
I
you
know, how
so
come?
much. I feel you. Why?
But I just love her. Like, and I get why she gets scared.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, but the
Yeah.
anxiety, I know, like maybe I'll, send too many texts or something. Like I'll do
Yeah.
something out of that place of anxiety that I like was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I wish I didn't do that. But
Yeah.
also I did and I will.
Yes. 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 The human.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't always be in the rock star, right? Sometimes it's just like, yeah, the vulnerable human. So how much of our work here is about repair? I mean, when you're working with couples, what are we looking at mostly with
There's
these
so much
hurt parts?
repair. In couples
Yeah.
work, there's so much repair, but mostly
Yeah.
it's like instead of saying like I'm going to be totally responsible or fix or save that little part of you and like make it go away.
Mm.
It's more like no, it's going to come up in each of us and it's going to look differently. Like you and I more anxious, we're going to feel
Yeah.
like bad about the neediness, but like people who are
Yes.
more avoidant, they feel bad about like taking away what they feel like they're supposed to give somebody. It's like
Mm.
everybody's feels bad about some of the things
Bad
that
about who they are.
yeah, exactly, to some degree until we start to go,
That's
oh,
right.
that's just
That's
the way
right.
that you're hurt and that's the way
Yeah.
I'm hurt. And these are the ways they kind
Yeah.
of exacerbate each other. And you didn't do anything wrong. And I didn't do that.
Mm,
Like, we didn't create
mm,
these things. But can we empathize when they happen? Can we repair when we kind of drop each other? Like, can we hold ourselves in those moments? Like, that's couples work. That's the repair side. And then there's the fun, sexy parts too.
mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, right. So with the needy parts, I guess it's this sort of balancing act of being able to acknowledge each other's needy parts, do our best to meet the needs, but not get so sucked endlessly into that game. I mean, I know that there's some couples therapy out there that is all about, just like this is all about reparenting. It's all about restoring each other's sense of safety. And I don't know, when I first heard that, I thought it was a revelation because I was in a marriage where I wasn't feeling emotionally safe and it really appealed to me. But then there's that whole other side of being in a relationship, right? Which is wanting to individuate, do your own thing, feel free. And you spoke about this in your book. I think it was in Making Love Real, the tension between the individualism and the secure attachment. And I love that you really bring both of those things into the picture because they must both be important.
Well, we have to, because I've had so many couples where like one is more attachment oriented and the other is more individuation oriented. And if I was just an attachment helper, then I would ignore, like I would tell the person who needs individuation, no, there's something wrong with you. You have to prioritize this other thing that's less important to you, but more important to your partner. And to me, that's like saying, oh, half of the population or whatever percentage is anxious, like they're right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're wrong. you know?
Yes.
Instead of
Yes.
saying like, no, we both want to be ourselves and we both want safety and we have different priorities or needs around those things. How do we try to make them work together as opposed to being at odds with each other?